psychological torture to raise another man's kid.
Torture?
It's torture.
Why?
Because you're pretending to be something that you're not. You're raising a child that doesn't belong to you. That's rough. I don't care what nobody say. Now, it gets done, and thank God we do have men who will do that, but psychologically is detrimental to your health.
What about when you have, if you're with a woman and she does have a child, but the father is active and is there?
Sure, you can handle it. It's still uncomfortable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Pulling up in the car, they come to the door, and she's really nice to him. No, he don't pay child support. He don't do nothing.
No, he pay child support.
No, I'm just saying, if he doesn't, I'm creating my scenario.
Oh, okay.
And, he's in the living room watching TV. She hear, okay, bye, return the kids. Coming back, okay, bye. It still hurt, but you have to be so mature. My thing is, why put yourself through that?
I agree.
That's where I'm at. Why do that to yourself? Why make yourself uncomfortable?
Did you know that when you were 30?
I'm not sure. That was a long time ago. Yeah.
So it's more of a new revelation.
No, I don't know. I've always thought like this since I was a youngster.
Okay.
Yeah. So my way of thinking has always been on another level, but I don't think I've ever had that situation though. So that's pretty cool.
So and if that's the game to the women, so should the men also be mindful of not having children?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should. But
I appreciate the question from her because, mind you, TK Kirkland has said before that he has 7 kids by 7 baby mamas. Now, because of his career, he can be of financial support to those children, adequate financial support to those children. But because of his decisions, probably dating back before he was in his 30s, there have been additional homes created where another man would have to step into as a stepfather in order for that child to receive somewhat of a fatherly figure. But just based off of the knowledge that he's spitting, I absolutely agree with him. I will never understand men that do not have kids, that choose women that do have kids, because her having a child outside of him is an additional bill, because it's a higher financial burden and a higher time burden. And inevitably, you may have to give way to or submit to the biological father's rules and requirements.
Even though I've probably hurt a lot of women's feelings on the baby thing, so let me give you the game on how to win, the solution. See, the solution is, when you have babies from another man, one, you still go out and have sex, still have a good time. Take care of your body. Make sure you look good because men are visual. So if you're out here fat, you not take care of your body, the chances of you getting a nigga is going to be slim. Then I have this thing in my head called reborn.
Okay.
Reborn is after you get all your kids out of the house, and then you can start dating again because the new guy that you're dating doesn't feel responsible that he got to carry other children mentally, spiritually, and financially. So he'll date you because all the kids are out the house. Yeah, we could date. We have a good time because I ain't got to worry about your kids, and that's just my thing. But women have to take care of themselves physically and mentally and try not to have a man's baby until you're in your late 30s, early 40s. This is just my opinion. Mm-hmm. I've seen women, and I try to date women who got kids. Man, it's rough because when you know what you know, you're like, oh, I like her. Damn, I don't feel like putting up with nobody's kids. It's exhausting. I gotta go to Toys R Us to prove that I like your fucking
Toys R Us ain't even around no more.
I'm just saying, I gotta do all these extra things, put your kid in the car seat. I go to Disneyland and shit and all that if I like you.
What if you have a blended family? Does that work?
What do you mean by blended?
Like either y'all both come with a child or two?
It's still difficult, yep.
Oh,
all of it's difficult. I think when people do that too, they love each other, but majority of the time financially not prepared. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is just one time do one wrong thing, right? You got 2 or 3 kids and then you bring one kid a gift. Then she gets on the phone with her mother and she's like, he just bought TT one gift. We got all these other kids in here. I ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Or if the child does something disrespectful and you need to discipline that child. At the end of the day, the child is not biologically yours. So the biological mom should have will and authority over that. And then again, you still got to deal with the biological dad if he's at all in the picture. Kids are exhausting enough as it is, but way more so when they're not yours. And fun fact, according to Pew Research, amongst blacks, there was a large gap in the percentage of men and women who report that they have stepchildren. Pay attention to this. 1 in 4 black men 24% say that they have a stepchild, compared with 14% of black women. So contrary to popular belief, black men are stepping up to the plate of being a step-parent more often than our gender counterparts. But also pay attention that black men are way more likely than white men at 15% and Hispanic men at 7% to say that they have stepchildren. So the occurrence of black men stepping up more often than our race counterparts is not because we're more selfless. It's correlated because within the black community, there's just way more single mothers. In 2023, the percentage of single mothers was almost half. 50% were black, 25% Hispanic, 14% white, while 8% were Asian. A 1 in 4 rate of black men signing up for this stepfather job is heavily correlated to that 50% of all black women are single mothers. And for all you trauma junkies that like to blame everything on the past before we were ever born, a study of 1880 family structures in Philadelphia showed that 3/4, 75%, most of black families were nuclear families composed of 2 parents and children. Data from the U.S. Census reports reveal that between 1880 and 1960, married households consisting of 2-parent homes were the most widespread form of African-American family structures. So we had way more 2-parent households and subsequently way less single mothers right after slavery as opposed to the last 60 years. Although the most popular married households decreased over this period of time, single-parent homes, on the other hand, remained relatively stable until 1960 when they rose dramatically. I wonder what happened at 1960.
I got time for it.
That's fair. I mean, you know, I don't know how much you're ever in comments, but like in the comments, people or men are often saying to women that, you know, don't be in the streets having a whole bunch of kids, you know.
Do not be having them babies. And to scare women so they can really understand what I mean, go a little deeper. A lot of people don't talk about when you get pregnant, that giving birth, you can die.
Absolutely.
You better love a nigga when you have his baby. That ain't a game. Like, you truly gotta love him. Like, to be up there and you could die. And I've only seen it happen once in my life. A lady in Orlando, she was a radio personality. She got pregnant and had the baby and passed away. Never got a chance to see a kid. So, you know, people need to know.
I actually know someone that happened to.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away. One of my close friends, one of her good friends.
Right. Yeah, that's rough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's her name? Judge. She's a black judge. She has short hair.
Hatchet?
Not Maybelline. It's another one. But her daughter died in childbirth. And so like they have like a whole campaign with the husband and, you know, his in-laws on, you know. TK, so have you heard about this guy, maybe like a month ago or 3 or 4 weeks ago, I guess. He was on Instagram or whatever, some social media site, saying that he has 7 kids and he did not want to take care of them. And he told all the women with whom he had these children that, you know, I told you I wasn't going to have these kids, but, you know, I didn't want any kids, yet he still skeeted in them and then had children, you know. What do you think about women and how they move as far as listening to what a man says versus watching what he does?
Every day. You know, he might send you some flowers. He might take you out to eat, but you didn't watch his character. So now you got a baby. Now he's behind the 8 ball, and now he's showing you who he really is, right? And I hate men who are coming to a woman knowing that she could get pregnant.
It's wild.
Like, and then say what happened when she tells you, "Oh, I'm pregnant." He's like, "How the fuck did it happen?" Well, duh. So I do this stuff on my podcast, and it drives me crazy, but the choices that these young men make.
So, and I guess and we've talked about this before. I think Rico brought this up. So when women are dealing with men, should they be listening to what the man is saying? Like, hey, no.
They listen too much because how you ladies get caught up.
So
women listen to words, and if a guy's real elegant with his conversation, you done. Next thing you know, your knees is behind your chin. You're screaming to the top of your lungs and shit. And if the it's good. You like, I love you. And the next thing, bam, you're off having a slice of pizzas, you're eating ices, you know? Now you let the nigga move in. You're like, hey, you want to move in? And bam, there you go. Then take 3 years to get the nigga out.
I think both men and women should be looking at the actions of people as opposed to just listening to game, just listening to their words. But I would argue a majority of these cases is not dudes going in raw daddy and then flipping the script and changing later, but rather it's two consenting adults making an adult decision to have unprotected sex, regardless if they talked about the long-term consequences of it, or regardless if they even really like each other like that, and then a child comes. That by far is the majority of the cases where this happens. So let me speak to the majority. Gentlemen, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. The short-term feeling of squeezing off in cheeks will never beat the long-term feeling of having to financially support a child with a woman that you never ever want to see again.
Oh God. Because I always feel like when, I'm talking to like my little younger cousins or even Mandy on the show, I always say, you watch what people do. I don't care what nobody says. Yeah, don't matter. True. You watch their actions. But my other co-host says, no, you listen to what they say.
Yeah, I think it's both. It's a fine line. You have to do both. You have to listen to what they say. And I always say demonstration is better than conversation. Yeah, that's how I move. Mm-hmm.
I like that. Let me write that down.
Don't be stealing my stuff.
I'm a 100% user.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I was saying that people should travel. The same way we teach our kids to go to school or play sports is the same way we got to teach them how to be a man and how to date as a youngster. Hey, son, put your money away. You're going to have a girlfriend one day. Teach him how to stack his money. Teach him how to open the door. Teach him about everything that is able to survive. One of the worst things in the world is to hear parents say, oh, I'm about to have a grandbaby, like I said earlier, knowing that their kid is not prepared to raise a child. It's the deepest thing, but most men and women say it. Oh, we're having a baby, knowing your kid don't have no money to raise a damn baby. And they push that agenda. I ain't got time for it.
Shout out to A to the Table, guys. I'll leave a link down in the description of this video in case you want to see the full comments by TK Kirkland. And shout out to TK. He's a legend within his own right. And I love where these conversations are going nowadays because we're getting closer to reality. We're getting closer to the truth. Instead of having complete tolerance for irresponsible behavior or shaming men for not stepping up to the plate and being a stepdaddy, we have platforms now to talk about the reality of making these decisions as opposed to some sugar-coated nonsense meant to manipulate. Questions, comments, concerns. Y'all already know what to do. Me, go to tourismreviews@gmail.com. Guys, leave your comments down below. What do you think about this piece of content right here? Do you have an experience with a stepfather or you being a stepfather? Write them down in the comment box down below so we can have a conversation about it. Last but not least, join my men's self-development community. We are going absolutely up all of 2025, especially if you have a focus into content creation or creating wealth for yourself going into the future. This is the Brotherhood for you. Click the link down in the description box down below. Beam up. Come join the Brotherhood. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get knocked up by a high value man.